Good morning, everyone. Good morning, trulo ibla olkata. Gote parom li. That's I'm welcoming everyone and acknowledging God who united Papua New Guinea, a country with 1,000 tribes, 1,000 languages, and 1,000 cultures. I'm so honored here to stand in front of fellow writers here, organizers, to talk about my book, Stand by Light. Let me take you back to 2024, September 2024. Up to September last year, this book never existed. Thank you, Anna, for giving us the platform to share our stories with the world. Somebody asked me, a small girl asked me, Richard, how could you write this 260-page book? Where did you get all these ideas? Well, I said, I'm a village boy. And I am thankful that I was brought up in the village where we have the custodians of the stories. So it was in 2020 I started writing this book, Stand by Light. I am not a writer, I'm an economist, and I didn't know how to write. So I started off with a short trip to Kandep, Daniel Kumbon's place. I didn't know that one sentence, one paragraph, would run on and become a full-length novel. Before 2024, my people's stories, their experiences, their hardships. By the way, who has read a Papua New Guinean story? A story about 1,000 years back, our life was like in PNG, 1,000 years ago. Well, my book is 1,000 years old. It captures the hardships, the myths, legends, and stories of my people. So in 2017, when my father passed away, the grave, again in 2018, when my grandma passed away, she took all the stories with her. So that's where the idea of writing this book came in. I somehow had to find time among my busy schedule to pen their stories down. But I didn't know, to be honest, First Nations, and I didn't know a publisher then. God has placed in me a thought to write. And I accepted that thought and worked on it. And you know how many years it took me to write? 4 full years. And it's a labor of love. Thank you, other writers here. My brother John Kuri there, Bakabina, Daniel Kumbonu is not here. We tried our very best to come here, but he had issues with his visa. So unfortunately, he's not here. Malin there, Arnold Mundua, who is not here. These are some few Papua New Guineans who work very hard to make sure that our stories ever placed in the world's record books. And I encourage all of us to continue to do what you love to do. Okay, going back to the book here. 2 weeks ago, a young girl approached me and said, "Richard, why did you kill your father in the second chapter?" I said, "I didn't have a choice. I just followed where the characters went." And 3 readers said, "We are going back to the first page, chapter 1 again." "Why?" I said. "Has anything bothered you?" "No, we can't forget the story." So my readers in Papua New Guinea, if you haven't read this book, you are missing out thousands years of history, culture. Not only this book, but all these other books. If you're not reading, how do you know your identity, your culture, your belonging? So, the book, let me take you back to the book again. It's about a family living in a remote Papua New Guinean village in the islands. Before the arrival of missionaries, the government system. So this family is living in a secluded life. But their everyday life it's well established, well ordered. We have what we call a placing or ceremonial ground where we kill pigs. We have our trees that we plant. These are way of life. These are things of value that we have in PNG. Just before the Europeans and the civilization entered the PNG. So I have a very, very handsome young man who is chased after by a lot of beautiful young women. And this young man has a lot of plans in his mind. We have traditional exchange system, Mocha. We have a traditional dance we call Waipa. So today you have NRL and boxing and all this. But in the past, these were the things that people enjoyed. So this young man, my main character in the book, enjoys all these things. And he had one thing in mind. He wants to marry 3, 4, 5, up to 10 wives. Because he has a lot of land. So he wants to have a lot of sons who will look after the tribe, who will defend the tribe from tribal wars. At the same time, missionaries introduce a foreign god. Maib says, we have our ancestral gods here. What kind of god are you introducing? So first, this foreign god converts the hearts of soft people like ladies and children. And then that power of influence comes over to that young man, Mike. And it comes with a strong message, and Mike has to make a choice whether to marry a lot of wives, take part in all these cultural exchanges and events. But he has to make a choice. So he leaves all his tribesmen and he says, I am stunned by light. I don't have a choice now. So I have to leave you, my brothers, behind. So the new religion, Christianity, converts this young man. And he becomes a devoted Papua New Guinean Bible Church Christian. And then when the government is established, police come in, and law is introduced, so tribal fight and all this subside. But you know what? My last born child is killed by the enemy tribe. So Mike has to have a choice now, whether to encourage his people to go and fight, take revenge, or forgive. But forgiveness is not part of his culture. But do you know what changes this young man's heart? The word. So that's why I said in the beginning, God is so good, and I acknowledged him. So some Australian or American missionaries, their children, if you don't know how the missionaries you sent to PNG changed lives, read this book towards the end. I'm not marketing here, but I'm telling you a true story. So, once again, this book had no place in the world's record books. Just a year ago. But Anna and the First Nations Writers Festival, thank you so much for elevating our voices with your extensive marketing networks, publishing networks. You are raising the voices and preserving the stories forever. Not for the current generation, but generations to come. And thank you, everyone,